Karen, I've got one more major issue that I'd love to address with you while we're on the topic of both gentlemen. And I want to first go back to Tom. You know all too well, as someone who has gone all the way to OT8 in this cult, you know how much you tolerated within the cult for the sake of the cult, for the name of the cult, for the name of the leader, for the belief system. You saw violence, you saw verbal abuse, you saw all of the issues, yet that didn't do it. Finally, you lost your son, and that crumbled the cognitive dissonance you dwelt with. Once that bubble popped for you, I want to analogize this to these two gentlemen for you. This is a deep thought process I want our audience to take with me. Once your bubble popped, Karen, you called a spade a spade. You started to see, this is rubbish. This is not true. That was a lie. That was physical violence. That was crime. That was this. And you now know, instead of letting it slide or finding ways to justify it because you protected the cult. The same, we can say, is probably happening, even though Tom Cruise and John Travolta experience a different form because they're celebrities. I can't imagine that they don't know some of this stuff. So the question then becomes hypothetical. You kind of turn it into a mind reader here on this episode. And I want to get you, with all the wisdom and insight you have in the cult, to guess in this experiment. And that is, imagine the bubble popped for Tom or for John. Let's start with Tom, and let's just say any reason. It could be his children, it could be his marriage, it could be his own life, it could be his health, whatever reason. Tom starts to see, oh my gosh, this is BS. What do you think, hypothetically, he would know and say about this cult? We had Marty Rathburn, we have Mike Render, we have Leah Remini, we have you. We have heavy-hitting, amazing people who know some dirt. What is the kind of dirt you think that Tom Cruise knows about the cult?
Right now, he doesn't. He's in the Matrix. He doesn't know any dirt. Can I start with John Travolta first? It's easier for me. John, every now and again, is a bad boy. He does something reckless. Like now, LGBTQ is completely accepted worldwide. In fact, it's embraced. And you are the bigot if you don't go along with, alternative lifestyles, right? Mm-hmm. But John, way before LGBTQ and homosexual activity was accepted and embraced, sold his wild oats. And every time something bad happened, a chiropractor sued him for sexual conduct that was unwanted and this and that. Scientology protected him feverishly and furiously. Remember, there are 150 people sitting on Hollywood Boulevard, 6331 Hollywood Boulevard, 150 dedicated Sea Org members at OSA INT, Office of Special Affairs. And they have firewalled him and protected him. It's very, very hard to suddenly interject and make someone flip from what they've actually experienced in real life to now absorb something very negative about what has been your savior for decades. John Travolta did, this is in a book. This is a book called Abuse at the Top. A book that's never been challenged, that's never been sued, whatever. John Travolta videotaped a sexual incident. He videotaped it a sexual incident with a man. And then somehow the cult found out about it. This is what I mean by reckless conduct. And the cult was terrified that this video would be sold to the Daily Mail and the Sun and the Daily Mirror and all. So Tommy Davis, this cult spokesman, went and retrieved the video. And the cult was having hysterical. They wondered if, when you have a video, it can be copied. It could be 200 copies in 30 seconds with modern technology. But apparently that was the only copy. And Tommy Davis put it in his suitcase. And long story short, he put it in the back seat of his car. And the long and the short of it is, when Tommy Davis went back to his car, the suitcase was gone. The suitcase with that video of John Travolta videotaping his fun was gone. And Miscavige had a mental breakdown, virtually. Tommy Davis was not allowed to sleep. He was not allowed to do anything but find the goddamn video that vanished. And Tom Cruise circled Hollywood and went to every dumpster, talked to homeless people, find out who was stealing things from cars. And for 3 days, he was a walking skeleton of trying to find this outrageous video. And as luck would have it, on the third day, the suitcase was found in a Hollywood dumpster, locked, unopened. So nobody had opened it, looked inside, and sold it to a tabloid. John Travolta recognized the power of how Scientology would come to the rescue. John Travolta was completely educated on the fallout of what would have happened with that video worldwide had Scientology not stepped up to the plate and got the video back. I tell you that story in depth because it shows what Scientology can do to protect a big celebrity. Nothing I say is going to undo the experiential history of what John has experienced. He's mollycoddled. His feathers are stroked. He's given back rubs, spiritually speaking, by the cult. The cult have protected him for years on his reckless conduct and his lawsuits and his this and his that. So I can't see that me suddenly having a private communication can undo what he's actually experienced. You can't unring the bell. Do you follow me?
Without a doubt. And I appreciate you not trying to hypothetically make what would they know. Maybe they do know some stuff. I guess my takeaway in your answer, without even getting to Tom Cruise, is they've been so protected, coddled,
Yes.
Reinsured, back rubbed, feet massage, hair rubbed, the whole nine.
Yeah.
They've been so babied in this and only seen such a positive defensive side of this cult that it's hard to even imagine what they would know or how they would be able to react or respond, because from what we know, they've only seen the good and the positive side. So if we're going to get a more accurate take on what the reality of Scientology is like for the average, or not even average, upper echelon, let's just call it non-celebrity Scientologist, you're going to find a more accurate portrayal of Scientology from the Mike Renders, the Leah Remini's, right? Like, so. Yes. So this is a good place, I think, in wrapping up this discussion, just to point out they have a completely different version, and it's really anyone's guess to imagine what they would know, because maybe they do know some things, but would you tell on the person or the people who are doing everything they can to help and protect you? I doubt it.
There's a double whammy here. Not only have they seen only a warm and fuzzy, loving Scientology, there's that, but they've also been indoctrinated for years that there are critics out there. They're criminal. They're speaking up against their religion because they've got massive crimes that they withheld and didn't confess to. So they're mad about their former religion because they're crooks, they're criminals, they're SPs. Anything you read derogatory comes from a bad, evil heart. So the way has already been paved to make any voice like me and Rinder and Leah and Tony Ortega and Aaron Smith-Levin and Chris Shelton and so on. It's already, the indoctrination has really been set in. These are bad, evil people. Their hands drip with blood. I mean, and they've got something like 300 sites on Mike Rinder, calling him a rapist and a wife beater and a this and that. Now, they had him as spokesman for 20 years, the international spokesman. And at the same time, they're now saying he was being this rapist, going home and raping his wife. And while they had him as the church spokesman, they don't see the contradictory nonsense in it. But yes, I think that you've summed it up beautifully. Very nice. They've had such love and such pampering and such indoctrination that people who speak about their darker side are just evil, criminal crooks, that they've already been subjected to ignoring or believing or taking it all with a pinch of salt. These are people with an axe to grind. They're not reliable sources at all. They've been very heavily indoctrinated in that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Karen, for this. I hope people will have learned something new and keep diving into this, because Scientology never ceases to amaze me with the absurdity, the criminal activity. They are a mob-like cult. So keep your eyes open, stay away from Scientology, and go subscribe to our friends' channel.
Thank you, Derek. It was a lot of fun. I would suggest we do a part. I got a list of Tom Cruise stories which we never even got into, never even had time for. But let's do another one.
Okay.
Oh, all right, dearest Derek. Take care.